Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started. How's it going?
Fantastic.
I mean, Faztastic.
That too.
This is a fine Faz Radio day.
It always is. I enjoy this. I look forward to it every week.
Every day is a fine Faz Radio day.
I gotta pull up that stuff I did yesterday.
Oh, what stuff is that?
No, the stuff looking up the play to earn.
Oh yeah, it's a very interesting angle. At first, I was kind of like, what? But after a while, and this was last year when I got into the Gala, after a while, I'm like, this makes a perverse amount of sense. My conservative upbringing would be like, you're just throwing money at people playing games. But see, the thing is, my conservative upbringing also gave me a lot of crap about playing games. Like, you're doing a very pointless activity that's not going to do anything for anybody. All it is entertainment. You go out and make some real money. Well, that's, and I even thought back then when I was like 9 years old, boy, wouldn't it be nice if you could actually make real money doing this? Well, if you have a bunch of people in the Philippines playing Axie Infinity or Mirandus, what they're actually doing is providing value for other game people playing the game. It's like you're paying somebody to be an NPC, which makes for a better game. Well, it just so happens that a lot of people in the richer countries have a lot of money. And, if it costs them $5 to play, if it costs everybody $5 to play a game, the rich people are going to want to pay $50 because they can. And when you pay $50, you will still benefit from all those $5 players in the Philippines. So it's there's more to it than you think. And the closest movie I can really think about this is Ready Player One, but I know that there's some others where if you start doing actually really significant social work inside of a game, what's the difference between that and doing it outside of the game reality? In real life. I mean, if playing Pac-Man gives somebody a tangible effect, and you could say, just causing people to calm down, then everybody who puts money into it is kind of contributing toward people calming down. So there is an effect. Is it the same as building houses? No. However, eventually when you connect robots to these games, you can actually have people moving around these robots. This is what I was thinking when I was a kid. You can have people moving around these robots. Just, if you have remote controls on these robots building houses, you can have humans sitting at computers building real physical houses. The rules change a little bit. You probably want to fence off the area so that no people get killed. But, there's... Now take these houses and put them on the moon or on Mars, and then all of a sudden you see the practical value of robots building houses with no people around. It's because people can't be around when you do that. And so, so you can do real practical work if you plug these games into something valuable. I think, though, it's very hard for people to see right now that playing a simple, stupid game like Axie, which is just things fighting other things, as being useful. Yeah, I just got right in.
Well, useful is subjective, though. I mean, what's useful to you may not be useful to other people.
Oh yeah, totally. Then there should be other applications. I mean, you could make it a useful book writing application. If you gamify Microsoft Word, I mean, and with NFTs, you could do it. What you start doing is you start making all these electronic things that we do very immediately financially useful, whereas before they just had no point.
Well, you've got to remember, though, that with the play to earn model, like the article we were talking about in the Philippines, those are games that aren't very expensive also, which makes a difference. There's, different tiers, I guess, of game, like you had mentioned a little bit earlier. And it, depending on where this goes, I mean, there could be, for some of those higher end games, there could be KYC issues that you're going to end up bumping into, and that's going to end up changing the style of how that gets done as well. It might be prohibitive to a lot of people, and the majority of gamers, 2/3 of them are under age 34, which means a lot of them are kids. 38% of that 2/3, of that 66%, are people that are not very financially well off yet. And 20% of that is people that are under 18. And I have a hard time believing that, a lot of 14-year-old kids are going to get the buy-in by running over to mom and dad and saying, hey, you need to send your social security number, driver's license number, and a copy of a utility bill over to this Hey Joe gaming company because I want to play their game. And oh, by the way, it's $5,000 for a general store. So can I have that as well? And oh, wait, do you have a crypto account? Because I need you to sign up for one of those and get a wallet too for me while you're at it.
All right. So that's using a lot of old world constructs to describe a future world. So I think the promise of pay to play to earn. I think the promise of play to earn is goes a little bit beyond the details of how to get that stuff going. Right now in today's world, yes, you have to jump through all those hoops. You have to do all those steps. However, anything that we do often in our world tends to be streamlined. Often, I mean, every day. If you go and make a that's one of the reasons why you don't pay sales tax personally. It's done by the company that you buy something from because it's just plain quicker and easier. You just simply give them your money and just have them pay the sales tax because they can keep track. So the same thing's going to go with these games. If crypto gets to a certain saturation point, in my opinion, if there's money to be made, someone will make it easier, and that's where you get into the layer 2, and I'll say even a layer 3 for crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum right now are, let's just say Bitcoin. Bitcoin is layer 1. You make a payment, but you're going to want to do things with crypto. You're going to want to make things easier. I see this the same way that networking came about. If you study networking at all in the internet, you'll find out that there's multiple layers, at least 7 different layers. You have like a hardware layer, you have a protocol layer, and you have, a website layer. There's money to be made on each layer. So I fully expect someone's going to come along. Let's just say Mark Cuban comes along and makes it 10 times easier for people to play a high dollar version of Axie Infinity where KYC is involved. And they're just going to say, oh, we can we can make a partnership with your bank, or we can simply just make it so you KYC once. Maybe there'll be KYC providers. And as long as all you need to do is have one KYC set up, and as long as you can connect to that provider, bang, you're set up. So I have no doubt that the world will follow and make things easier if there's money to be made.
They have those out there now. There's a handful of them. That CVC token that I traded for a while last year, they are working on a KYC platform, and there's a few others. And I do think it'll get easier. I'm very interested to see where that goes. Blockchain can be a great way to tie up that data and keep it private. There's even a token I ran into on BitTrue, and the name escapes me at the moment. It's got like 4 zeros after the decimal point at this point. But what they're doing is having you put all your data into this database, all your personal information, not only for KYC, but your preferences, your all the stuff that companies out there normally collect to mine your data with, and you are in total control of your data. They contract with companies that will come in to buy opinions or get data for segments for their marketing, and you have the ability to sell it to them using that token. So I thought that was a great idea. It might get to that point. That's great. I think people are going to make a ton of money in the play to earn arena. There's no doubt about it. We can see it now. People have made tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just with Gala's platform so far. And that's probably going to grow exponentially as it goes. There's we're up to almost 50 blockchain gaming entities that have launched or will be launching very soon. And the big boys haven't even gotten into this yet. So I see this as something that's going to become immensely popular. I think that also brings the side chain to, we're going to have a very, very spread out, very, very thin layer of penetration into each of these because so many of them are coming out. There's a couple players that have started early, like Axie, which is seeing the huge rise, and people are making a ton of money off of this. But I don't see that lock staying for the long term. I mean, all these other companies are just going to put their stuff out. People are going to want to explore new and different things. The switch between the card playing battles and something like Myst or even Mirandus, the big difference there. So people will want to explore that. But again, as the next thing comes out, it's going to be an ADHD convention out there, because you're going to have your attention focused on something that you think is the coolest thing in the world that you're making money on. And then there's going to be something different, something better, something that interests you more. I think this is going to turn into a fantastic space. And for people like me who don't game, I mean, I play them on the Xbox with the kids and stuff, but I've never experienced a game, anything like these blockchain games. I want to play with a few of them. Sure, I'll try it, but it isn't going to be a life event. I mean, I've got a million other things to do. I don't have time to just sit and game all day. I wish I was a kid again. I would if I was a kid.
Well, gee, you don't have very many counterpoints there, and the whole reason we have this is because we disagree on things. We pretty much need to end this one right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't disagree on this in the least, and I think the only part we disagree on, and this has been since the beginning, is the amount of people that'll be in it. I really don't think it's going to be anywhere near the level that you think it is.
So you mentioned, boy, I'd really love to do this, but I don't have the time. Think about this. Why don't you have the time? I would bet you don't have the time because of this big 9-to-5 thing that you have to do every day. And the whole purpose, the whole point of play to earn is to replace that. So if you did not have your 9-to-5 job every day, are you saying you still wouldn't have time?
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be sitting around playing games all day if I didn't have a 9-to-5. No.
Well, okay, let's turn this a little bit more. You are sitting in front of the computer a lot more these days, where before you were not. And you have admitted that you're doing a lot more crypto, and crypto is causing you to sit in front of the computer more. What's the difference between playing a game and doing crypto?
Well, there isn't. And it is funny because I haven't had a desktop or even a Windows laptop in, geez, probably 10 years. And now I have 4 desktops, a laptop, a couple of nodes over there, and I've got a whole mess. And yes, I do spend a lot of time on here. And the purpose is to make money. Personally, I just wouldn't do that through the gaming. And if you're looking for an argument, we can argue. I can easily do that because the replacing the income is way more difficult than you think, but it's not from the front end. So if you were to go into
before you go into that, I just want to say the desktop is not going to be the killer app with this play to earn stuff. Obviously, a phone or some other, I'd suggest even something like Google Glass, something you put on your face, some sort of augmented reality is probably going to be the killer app for that. So before you went off in that direction, I just wanted to, just say you're using the PC more now because you're finding that you can make money using the PC. And I would count.
It's just easier. I can use a phone to do it. I can use my tablet to do it, but
right,
it's 100 times easier sitting here with 2 monitors in front of me and be able to have everything open all at once for quick copy paste and all that.
So that I'm going to say that depends upon the UI and the form factor. It just so happens that the PC gives you everything you need. If gamifying, making money playing games, takes off, that's going to spur the development of more form factors because people aren't going to want to sit in front of their computer all the time. They're going to want to do. So let me give you an example of gamifying real work. It could be that you work at a construction site and you have augmented reality things popping up in front of your eyes that perhaps might show you the right thing to do. So you're banging a nail in real life, and and something pops up to tell you that you need more nails. That's an example. Something's keeping track. You can also have people that are playing the game of watching and helping you build something. So a lot of times you might build something and you'll get something wrong, and you don't realize it until an inspection comes. So if you have somebody in the Philippines watching you that knows all the rules of the game, as soon as you put 2 boards together that shouldn't be nailed together, they'd pop something up, and then you click an acknowledgement. You could make money from that acknowledgement, and they could make money from popping that up, and the end result is you get a better building. Now, I'm using a very obtuse example, but that's an example of how you can combine real life with gamification and play to pay, play to earn. I keep getting that mixed up. And play to earn. You can have them work together. So it's not like you think. It's not like people are just going to go in and waste their lives being paid to eat ghosts and Pac-Man all the time. You're going to see a convergence of the 2 worlds.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where it can go. But then you have the people who won't want that either. I mean, do you really want somebody checking your code that you do all day in live time and telling you when you're going to screw up and stopping you?
Yes, that's called a code. That's called a integrated development environment, and I use it every day. And the moment that I type something wrong, it underlines, just like Word. The same thing happens to you, Microsoft Word. When you're typing sentences in Microsoft Word, as soon as you misspell something gets underlined. So then you, of course, you want to keep going because you want to finish your sentence, and then you go back and you fix what's been underlined. It's like, oh, I misspelled that word. Well, the same thing happens with code. If I write a structure that has no purpose, it says, hey, you just created a variable, but you're not using it. And there's innumerable other things. There's automatic test runners that I use. I'm really commanding an army of bots at this moment while I'm programming, and these bots are telling me what to do.
That's exactly where I was hoping you were going to go with that.
Well,
because
so now if you have a person that's checking up on me while I'm writing my code, let's define the word while I'm writing my code. It depends on how and when. Now they could go in and while I'm typing stuff, they can underline the things instead of a what do you call it? Instead of an AI doing it. But that's not going to help me as much as when I get to a certain point. Maybe I get to a certain finishing point. I've written a couple pages of code, and I'm like, you know what? I think this is good enough to go out. Well, we have something called peer review with our code. Well, everybody does. When you write code, you have peer review. Somebody reviews it to make sure that it's written properly. Well, I could simply just submit it to the ether for peer review. Then it comes back with ding, 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 ding. It violates these rules. Or, you had stated you wanted to follow this standard and you're not following it. Well, AI can hit a lot of those, but humans are going to be able to tell when you're kind of trying to go about it the wrong way. It's possible to do it this way, but you're going about it the wrong way. And so I would love to be writing code, and then once I hit submit for peer review, it come back with 47, not 47, just some feedback on the code. Maybe somebody writes some notes on the code going, what are you trying to do here? This is sitting out here and this is very inefficient. You could do it better this way. And if I take that suggestion and I implement it, bang, they get money and maybe I get a little money. So there's ways to do this in a way that doesn't annoy the crap out of people and it uses everybody's time efficiently. Did I just get around your counter argument there?
No, because you're assuming that humans are better than AI.
I just said that AI was going to be doing it with the humans.
Well, but you don't need humans if you have good AI. Now humans have to write the AI.
And AI doesn't know everything. And AI doesn't understand the culture, and it doesn't understand how your brain works. A lot of times, if I'm writing something or doing something, you can say, "Hey, Faz, stop doing that. I see what you're doing. You got to do it like this if you want to be successful." Now, I could still be doing something the wrong way and still get it done. You're just going to say, dude, you're wasting a lot of time. However, because I was just looking at my son, who's 10, my son's code last night, and he's creating 20 and 30 variables to do a simple thing. I'm like, dude, why not just use a loop with one variable? Well, AI is not going to tell you that. AI has a hard time recognizing has a hard time recognizing how people think. It can only do so much. So humans are going to fill in that gap. So like I said, a combination of other humans and AI could gamify my coding to the point where somebody in the Philippines can help me write my code, and all they need to do is weigh in once. It just so happens I'm getting this information right now from other places. I go and I look stuff up online. I go to stackoverflow.com and I ask people, hey, I'm trying to get this done. I can't figure out how to get it done. How do you get it done? And somebody will say, well, then show me what your code looks like. So then I roll out all my code, but in an abstract way so people can't see what company I'm working for and so on. And then they go, oh, I see what you're trying to do. Yeah, you shouldn't be using this method at all. You should be using this command over here, and you should be doing it like that. That is something that AI and computer compilers cannot do right now.
But they do that for fiat now. What's the difference whether you're getting fiat or tokens? Most people aren't going to have online free forums to go do that. You have your Fivers, you have consultancy groups that'll review code. There's no difference between the digital world and the blockchain and fiat for that. What makes it so different?
Okay, what makes it different is fiat right now is not easily plugged into certain types of gamification. And I say easily in the fact that you have companies. So you can do it if Google manages the money, or if a bank manages the money, or Microsoft manages the money. So Microsoft would have to make a plugin to work with this, to work with that, and they would have to produce a product to do this. If you make it to where all of a sudden it's not Microsoft, but it could be anybody that can manage it. If anybody can manage the money, because actually I won't say anybody, I'll say if the blockchain manages the money, then it's no different than just connecting to another resource. And so when I'm writing a program, I can simply just make sure that my group help function is turned on, and then I might get a certain level of help with what I'm doing. I might have to pay for that group help function, and somebody is going to have to put that group help functionality together, but it won't be Google or Microsoft. It could be some dude in Thailand that put together this group help functionality, and he is allowed to manage money because he can use a blockchain that's allowed to manage money. Right now, he can't do that. There's a lot of barriers put up for individual people in managing money. So, I mean, you have to have a license, you have to have a money transmitter license, you have to be trusted. I mean, there's all sorts of things in there that you have to be careful about.
Yeah, I mean, with the digital side, you're going to have KYC and what tokens are valuable to what people.
Well, if KYC is baked into your chosen solution, then that's not going to be a problem. And if it's made easier, so if there's KYC already set up in there, you just literally you go approve this plugin, and it's just like, where's your KYC provider? Oh, plug it into my KYC provider. Done. I mean, it bang zoom. Again, once you start connecting things together that's already built, it gets quicker and quicker. But the fiat system right now is there are certain players that you have to be a bank or you have to be a money transmitter. Only certain people that are allowed to write these programs. I could write that program, but then I'd have to make sure that Google was fine with it, or I'd have to use the Google wallet, and then I'd have to fit the Google wallet rules, and then, oh my God, and then I'm back to square one where I can't do it. That's why again, you don't see a lot of independent people doing very, very complex things with fiat, because they're simply not allowed to. Having a blockchain and a series of smart contracts can make that easily available for them. Okay, guys, that was a lot to digest in this episode. I'm going to cut this, and we're going to play the rest of this conversation next week. And we'll see you next time.